Draw a plan for your wall shelf, including measurements and design details. The top of this unit has a raised panel arch. The apron beneath the bottom shelf will be cut to provide airflow. 4 adjustable shelves make up the center of the wall unit. A combination of plywood and solid lumber are used for the bottom shelf. Biscuit joint, glue, and set aside to dry. Birch plywood is used for the case. Rip the pieces to 5½ inches and apply edge banding to one side of the cut plywood edge. Use biscuit joints and glue at all the corners, making sure there is plenty of glue to make the biscuits swell. Then nail the corners. Cut the 1/4 inch plywood back panel to size. Make sure it's square and align the box to it. Start at the top and work down the sides, making the surfaces flush as you go. Staple every 3 inches using 1-inch staples. We use this shop-made trammel jig to create the arc for the bottom shelf. A jigsaw was used to cut all the way through where the 1/4 inch bit couldn't reach. These flush trimming bits have a wide application in cabinet construction. The bearing on this bit will ride against the smooth routed edge and clean up our cut. Finish the edge with an orbital sander and 80 grit paper to remove any routing marks. With the piece sanded smooth, decorate the edge with a 1/4 inch roundover bit and an undersized bearing. The profile gives a custom look and fits the classical nature of the design. The bottom shelf is now finished and can be fit to the case. Center the shelf between the sides. Then mark both the sides and the front edge of the case on the shelf. This excess will need to be cut off. Use a jigsaw and carefully cut out the waste. Set the shelf bottom in place and countersink pilot holes through it into the sides. Use 4 screws on each side and glue the joints with a high-quality yellow glue. Biscuit joints could be used here, but since the bottom of the cabinet will never be seen, screws provide the needed strength without requiring long clamps or a time delay to wait for the glue to dry. Use 2½ inch screws with coarse threads to bite effectively into the end grain of the plywood sides. Be careful not to over-tighten, which may cause the screws to strip out in the plywood. The wall case frame is now finished. It was simple to assemble and could be custom built for a wide variety of locations in your home. Next, we can take it upstairs, install the lighting, and fit it into the wall. Mark out and cut the location for the light switch. Keep it low enough that it won't interfere with any of the shelves. A jigsaw is the perfect tool to make these cuts. Install a remodel box into the opening. The tabs will hold it securely in place. Invert the cabinet and drill a hole for the low voltage light. The hole size is determined by the light manufacturer. Wire the bookcase and set it in place. The boxes at the side and top require the framing to be notched. Make sure the box seats tight in the opening and no wires are caught behind it. Plumb the box in the opening and give attention to the margin at the side. When you're satisfied with the result, nail the box to the framing using 2½ inch nails. Place these nails near the top so that the holes will be hidden behind the arched trim. Give attention to the location of your wires to make sure you don't nail through them. Check to see that the case is level and shim if needed. The cabinet extends several inches past the face of the drywall. The vertical trim pieces we will install later will hide it. Rip 2x4s to fit and install them to provide backer for the trim at both sides and top. Use 3½ inch nails to reach all the way into the framing inside the wall.